Hello, and welcome to the Bikes or Death podcast. My name is Patrick, and I'm your host.
My name is Miles, and I'm your co-host.
And this is a show that talks about bikepacking, adventuring, and the cool people who participate. So, Miles, welcome to the intro part of the podcast. This is the first time I've ever had someone introduce a show with me. And just for fun, this is actually your episode that we'll be introducing.
I like to see things in a full circle. So if I'm going to be in the podcast, I might as well be at the beginning and also the end of the podcast as well.
I think that makes sense. So what brings you to the dining room of Bikes or Death in College Station, Texas? What brings you here?
It's just another stop on the Great American Van Life Tour. I was at the Bikepacking Summit. We were at the Bikepacking Summit last month, I guess.
Yeah.
And then now we're heading west towards the other coast.
It wasn't even last month. It was like 2 weeks ago now.
There you go.
Yeah, but you packed a lot in because you did the summit and then you did a multi-day trip in Northwest Arkansas. So why don't you mention that real quick? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so during the summit, I linked up with Joe Cruz, who also does a lot of writing for bikepacking.com and a lot of overseas trips. And then he had a friend in Arkansas based out of Bentonville, and he was scouting a route, or he had planned a route for us, kind of like a 5-day route, mixing a bunch of single track in the area. It's based loosely on the Adventure Cycling Association's gravel route that they have there.
Right.
But their route doesn't take advantage of any of the single track there. And there's quite a lot. It'll blow your mind when we publish the route and people go ride it. You're not expecting to see single track in these places that the route takes you.
It's crazy in Northwest Arkansas.
It's a wild west out there.
In a good way. It's like a wild west for cyclists who are emerging on like a new way of being a cycling community and integrate trails and cycling events and everything. It's just like part of the culture and the community there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I mentioned to you this before, but within 15 minutes of leaving downtown Bentonville, you're riding single track mountain bike trails right out of town. And then you're on those single track trails for half of that first day. It's pretty amazing. It's super wild, and I'm excited for us to publish it.
I'm excited to move there one day. I actually want to mention this because I get asked this a lot about if we live in Arkansas or when we're moving, because I threw that out there that we got some land. So just for the record, we own some land there, but we're not going to move for 7 or 8 years, because I get and it's cool, but I get messages from people who are like, "Hey man, let's go for a ride. Let's go for a ride." I'm like, I'm not there yet, but bookmark me for 7 years from now.
I'll be there.
I'll be there. Yeah. Anyway, so worth mentioning, but also worth mentioning. Oh wait, so yeah, you did your multi-day trip.
Yeah, we did that. There's a bunch of river crossings. That's exciting. We almost didn't make it because the river almost swept us away. But you'll hear about that.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So y'all are doing an article and a whole feature on that.
Yeah. It'll be a route. I think it's definitely worthwhile to be a published route on the site. It's just such an adventure and super cool.
I'm stoked.
Yeah. And then after that, we've kind of just moseyed our way down here to College Station, Texas.
Yeah. And do you want to mention the tornado?
Yeah, so the biggest hiccup in van life history. We were camped at this little abandoned kind of wreck site area for the night. Super beautiful, overlooking a lake. Tornado warning came in, and that actually passed by us. That was okay. Some cool lightning and stuff, all good. And then just a normal thunderstorm came in that was windier actually where we were, and knocked down an old tree branch right onto the windshield of our van. Smashed it up real good.
Yeah.
It's currently still smashed. I can see it from here.
Yeah.
So pretty much put a hole right through it.
Pretty much.
It's super
You have
smashed.
glass on the inside of your van. So
yeah,
it didn't go all the way through, but it could have been worse.
Could have been worse, but in a couple hours, I've got a appointment here with David's Auto Glass in College Station, which apparently he's the guy.
Yeah.
When you want some auto glass
Everyone
repairs.
knows that. Yeah.
Everybody knows him. And so we're getting a new window shield. And then when we get back to British Columbia, probably a new hood and maybe some body work as well.
So we're going to do a little overnighter in the Sam Houston National Forest tomorrow and Thursday. This is like hot news. Like this is going to come out today. We're releasing this right now.
Yeah.
And then maybe people will meet us in the woods.
Yeah.
Come find us if you hear this.
Or they're listening to the podcast while they're biking and then realize they see us.
Yeah, at the same time. Like, holy shit. All right, so yeah, you're here. We're having a good time showing you around Texas. I'm cooking them or smoking up a brisket right now that we're gonna eat later, and probably take some to go on our trip that we're gonna go on. But excited to show you Texas, and I want to do like a trip report on this and really get like your perception or your perspective on like Texas, maybe in general, but more specifically the riding and whatever stands out to you, you know?
Cool. Yeah.
Because you've obviously seen a lot and been to a lot of neat places and got a ride. So I'm very curious as a person with a lot more limited experiences in like different places. From what I've seen, Texas sucks kind of compared to like, I mean, unless we're talking about like Big Bend or something like, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to sway you. I don't want to like put things in your head. I want to get a pure
Canadian
experience in the Texas wilderness.
That's our motto.
What else? All right. So we need to talk. You mentioned the bikepacking summit. You were just there. And that's worth mentioning that this episode we are releasing right now is going to be the first of what I'm calling the Bikepacking Summit series. Thought really hard about that name.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Rolls off the tongue.
Right off the tongue. So I got a total of 6 interviews, and we got some real bangers, and I'm not going to say what all of them are. I'm just going to tease the next one at the end of this episode. Today is, well, who's today's guest, Miles?
Yeah, he's a youngly loved Canadian who goes by the name Miles Arbour.
Oh, well, looky there.
It's me.
It's me. Yeah. So, yeah, the Bikepacking Summit was just a couple weeks ago, and it was a really neat experience for me. Like, just to kind of add a little context there, the whole idea came from Lael whenever I was interviewing her, episode number 10, if you want to check that out. And she mentioned that I should go to the Bikepacking Summit. I was like, that sounds wonderful. Afterwards, like, I got quite a few messages from people who were like, you should go and do that and like report back, you know, because not everybody can go, but they're really interested in hearing about it and knowing what it was like. And I was like, yeah, I mean, why not? So it kind of like opened up my mind to this idea of going to an event and kind of like covering it from like a news perspective almost, or like a media perspective at least. Yeah. Which I think is, I don't know, I was excited about the idea. So I reached out to Neil and Lindsay, and they were, I think it was great that they saw the value or the opportunity, because the truth is like no one really knows what the podcast can do. I mean, until we put these out there, like, you know, like no one knows. It's like a new thing. So for them to give me an opportunity to like try it out, basically, I thought was really cool. Yeah. You know, and they like treated me and everyone else so good. I mean, they were like bikepacking mom and dad, you know, they just like, anything you need, what do you need? You know, just take care of you.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it's cool to have a podcast there on site too, because even from like, so from my like bikepacking.com perspective, we do like a little recap, which I published already, but it doesn't tell like the stories and stuff, like the more, I don't know, more intricate little stories that like an individual can share. So then that's where your podcast comes in. It's great. It's a great addition to it, because then it's just like way more personal.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
It's a different perspective. That's all it is. I mean, we're looking at the same thing, but I had the opportunity to sit down with, I'm not going to say who it is. Yeah. Someone's really good. There's one Miles is really excited about. All right. This is a long intro, but stick around till afterwards, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the summit. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, and I'm not just saying that. I don't know how to use a better, I want there to be a better word, but it really was pretty awesome. So, all right. But before we get to the episode, please do me one favor. Go to iTunes and leave a review. I prefer 5-star reviews. Those are the best ones. Thank you. And if you'd like to hear more ways how you could support the show, please stick around after the show and I'll tell you all about it. But for now, let's get to the show.
I got to get my notebook.
Yeah. You brought notes?
Just wait.
You brought, you were more prepared for this interview than I am.
Has the, at this point, would you have done your intro?
No, I mean, we're just kind of recording.
Can I do my intro?
Yeah. Please. I love it when guests do their own intro.
Let me put this here.
All right. This is Miles Arbour, doing something with a gigi guitar?
Ukulele.
A gigalele. Gigalele. I don't know. This is falling apart. Oh, it's back together.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
This is the Bikes or Death podcast intro song. You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes or death. Bikes or death. Podcast.
Yeah. That was good. Wait, that's your mic. There you go.
Thank you.
Man, so where did the inspiration come from for that obvious masterpiece?
You know what? I think every good podcast needs a fun intro song. And because I'm the best at playing Gitalele, the best Gitalelist I know.
Yeah.
It was kind of like my responsibility to do it for you.
I don't know what to say. I'm overwhelmed. I'm a little emotional right now. No one's ever, it was so good. Like it hit hard, like it was fun, but it hit hard too. And then it was just so raw.
I like really think back to difficult times in my life to pull that together. It's
nice.
It's pretty deep.
Do you want to talk about those difficult times?
No, it's okay.
You want to talk about your Crohn's?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
All right, let's do that. That was fun. Thanks for that intro. That was pretty. And we should say that we are recording in the van. Does your van have a name?
No, it's a lot of people do the van naming thing.
Yeah.
We had van 1,
okay,
which was our first van in a Econoline, like plumber van, which is what we traveled in to the last bikepacking summit. And this is van 2.
Oh yeah, there's a number, so you know which one you're in.
This is the second one.
Yeah.
Because there's a 2 up there, and then that's how we know.
No, that's good. You don't get confused.
There's a small metal 2 on the top of our cabinetry above the kitchen area.
Yeah. So this is sweet. I have been kind of course, looking at vans because that's what you have to do. And I want to set up like a mobile recording studio. So this is like my first like introduction to what a mobile podcasting empire would look like. And you were also gracious enough to give me the captain's chair. So I'm like,
yeah, you pretty much took that on your own. I didn't have it.
But you didn't argue too much. So I felt like it was kind of like you giving it to me.
It works well.
It does. And you look very comfortable there.
Yeah, this is the little perch.
If you want, halfway through, we can switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You deserve it.
Yeah. So how has van life been?
It's been good. We, I guess I kind of mentioned, we got a taste of it last summer.
Yeah.
So we converted that van like on the cheap, like not insulated, not super technical. And then we liked it a lot, like driving around, and we didn't really have a place in Canada that we wanted to call home or like pay for rent anywhere. So then we got van 2, which is a high roof Ford Transit. So it's not a Mercedes, so we don't have as much street cred as some of the folk out there.
Whoa, that's rough.
This is like,
how are you making up for that lack of street cred?
Writing really good songs.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then it's like, obviously he could get a Mercedes, but he's choosing a Ford because
we're
you're
modest.
you, man.
Yeah,
you're modest.
There's really, I don't show off.
Right.
I have silly expensive bikes. One silly expensive bike. So I'm okay with second tier van.
How do you choose a bike? So you and your lady, Emily, are living in the van too, and obviously there's not a lot of storage space. So you have two bikes. How do you choose like a bike?
Yeah, that's hard. It's there's no. I think a lot of people say like there's one bike to kind of rule them all. You can have this bike that does everything.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case. Like I think you're gonna have a bike that shreds. A bike that's like gravelly and fast, and then maybe, I don't know, more specialty bikes like road bikes or something like that on the fringes. So I just got a bike that can shred.
So what you like to do is shred. So that's what you got.
That's what I want to get better at now. So I got a bike, that can go down chunky stuff fast and steep.
Well, yeah, the rake on the front is kind of raked out. Yeah. How does it do on bikepacking though? Because we're at the bikepacking summit right now, so we did a little overnight or last night, and how was it?
Still comfy. Yeah. Like it definitely. Right now I have pretty wide bars on it. They're like 800 mils, so they're not trimmed down at all, which is pretty wide for like a touring stance. So yeah, it's like maybe not the most ideal, but if there's like single track involved in it, then it's totally fine.
Yeah. So why did you pick that bike? And it is a Y too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick the Y?
Why?
Why?
I got a glimpse. I don't think I rode Ben's, but Ben Hendrick, who rode the Oregon Timber Trail with me last summer, he had one. And it was like a little bit more raked out, a little bit more trail worthy than my Karate Monkey that I was riding. And there was like a few descents, like pretty chunky, loose stuff, where his was definitely like just handling better. Karate Monkey was like a little bit less forgiving. And then the Y is definitely like a little bit more playful of a bike. And it has more options, and like more modern kind of features. So just like boost spacing, the sliding kind of dropout system that they use is pretty cool. So I can run like single
really
speed,
versatile.
Yeah, or belt drive and
That's
stuff.
what I look for that now is, you have a titanium frame, a good titanium, a steel frame with lots of versatility with different tire options or wheel options. And yeah, I think that's, especially if you're only going to have one bike, like you need to have something that's kind of versatile.
Yeah. That's similar to your new bike, right?
It's a little similar. Yeah. Our bikes look very dandy right next to each other, don't they?
They do they look like good buds.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm recently, my bike's similar to yours, but not as raked out. It's a little bit more cross country or endurance type, but similar kind of setup for sure with capabilities and whatnot. Fancy bike words inserted here. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. All done. So for anyone who doesn't know you, why don't you kind of tell people how you make a living while traveling around the globe in your van too?
Yeah. I'll do general Miles Arbour in a nutshell. I'm 27. I have a degree in business and marketing and entrepreneurship. This is my specialization. Went to guide school after that, a 2-year program where I just climbed ice and rock and whitewater rafted. And that kind of that's how I was introduced to kind of bike packing in general. One of my instructors was super into it. Cool. And then I rode the Coke LH.
When was that? What year?
That would have been 3 years ago. I think I graduated from college because I was in school for 6 years total. Yeah. Maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you and I got introduced around the same time period.
Yeah.
Were you into cycling prior to that?
Not in a huge way.
Wow. Okay.
Not really. I was pretty late to learn how to ride a bike, actually.
Huh.
Late elementary school.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why. I just didn't really like it. I guess I didn't give it a shot. In university, I started riding bike to get around. And then I bought a Kona Sutra. I used touring bike after I sold my road bike, and then started doing some touring stuff, like full panniers. I remember my first overnighter, I did full front back panniers, load them up, just finding stuff to put in them. I was like, oh yeah, I could use this. Sure, I'll bring it.
Yeah.
And then did little overnighter. And I think that was the last time. I think it was the once and only that I toured with big panniers on a heavy bike. Just remember biking down the highway. And I was like, there has to be a more fun way to do this.
Yeah.
And then college program, Cam Dubé introduced me to bike packing
Proper.
proper.
So your other instructor guy, was he
Yeah.
like into touring then? Like more touring side of it, or?
That was before college when I was doing the
gotcha.
touring stuff.
Okay.
So university, which was all in Ontario, Canada. For those wondering, I'm Canadian.
Oh yeah. No, we could tell.
Hey,
Hey, what? Hey, I can't even pretend. I don't even know. I know it when I hear it.
and,
Yeah. So yeah, continue your miles in a nutshell.
yeah, it's a big nutshell.
Yeah.
And then rode the Kokopelli Trail. I guess was my first experience. That was my like final exam for the program, which was super fun.
Wait a second. I remember reading about this now. It's all kind of coming back to me.
Maybe.
So tell us about that trip. I remember like bits and pieces.
Yeah, we had a few blog things somewhere. But it's pretty much you have to plan and execute like an expedition of some kind as the final. It's called Outdoor Adventure Program.
Right. And then like you submit it and then the university like funds it or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they give you some money towards it and then you have to like fundraise the rest of it.
Okay.
So we did like bike-a-thons and stuff on trainers inside the college, and like people threw spaghetti at us and like made us sprint, and we did it all day, like 8 hours straight, which is pretty cool. We raised a bunch of money doing that. And then, we planned to ride the Kokopelli. It was like a bunch of stuff went wrong, like getting there, like flights were canceled. It was like nothing really went as planned. And like we weren't ready for it. Like we weren't, at that point, none of us were really like comfortable riding technical single track. A few of the other guys were, but like we had like fitness and a good attitude.
And y'all are like solo, right? I mean, as a group, it's not like there's a professor with lots of experience and like you're just, that's cool. Yeah.
Just us.
You just jumped in.
Yeah. And most people ride the Kokopelli Trail. Well, I wouldn't say most people. A lot of people ride it with like water drops and stuff because there's no supplies on the way. Like you're pretty much just out there, right? There's like a few places you can filter water and potentially get water. So we ran into issues such as like dehydration and stuff. So we learned it all pretty quick. But we made it and in one piece.
Good job.
And then, and then I was hooked.
Yeah, no doubt. That's I mean, I guess I could see it go the other way. You're like, well, that was kind of sketchy. I don't think I want to do that again. But that's not the way I would look at it. I'd be like, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
You just want to get better. You're like, okay, I learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only one way to learn.
Exactly.
All right, cool. What else?
That's how I got introduced to bike packing, which I guess wasn't your question, but and then
I was going to ask it anyway, so you just saved me a question.
I'll just continue with that story then. And then I just started pestering Logan at bikepacking.com to be a part of that. Because I was like, okay, I'm like business graduate. I know I worked like in a office doing a marketing gig for a bit, and I like knew I didn't want to do that. I did the guide training stuff, which was interesting. And I like toying around with gear and stuff. Definitely like a gear nerd. But didn't really want to be a guide per se. So I started just like emailing Logan a bunch, asking if there's like something I can do to help out. And then, I posted the first route in Ontario.
That's right. Yeah.
The Central Ontario Loop Trail, which is like a pretty big hit. And then, I guess eventually Logan said yes. And then,
That was the question I really want to ask you. Yeah. So now at this point, you are doing like gear reviews, product reviews for the website, and then you do also like do some other stuff behind the scenes, helping manage content and whatnot, right? Is that a fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like how did you score this job with the limited experience that you have? What, like as a gear reviewer, a photojournalist, a bike packer? Yeah. Like did your lack of what allowed you to approach Logan? Like, was it just you were naive, or you were just determined? You're like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, probably a bit of both. It's a good question. Like sometimes I still wonder that today because it hasn't been that long. Like I've been working with the site for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I guess like I've always toyed like a little bit, played around with photography and like video stuff. And then kind of like I can write a sentence pretty okay. But then that kind of like all kind of went out the window when I started writing gear reviews, which are a lot different than like university essays.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I would think it would be kind of more fun and take the pressure off a little bit because, I mean, a lot of what you're doing is just technical and factual information.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be pretty. A lot of yours seem like they're more fun. Like you try to have fun when you're writing it, make it a little more interesting or entertaining to read.
Yeah, totally. And that's like something that took a lot of practice to get good at. Yeah, I honestly don't like. I guess the better question would be for Logan. Like, why'd he choose me? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask him.
It's a good question because I would like to know the answer too.
Well, it's interesting. You know, I mean, both of us are like, I mean, you're putting out information, product information. You don't have a lot of experience in bike packing. And I don't have a lot of experience in bike packing, but I'm having a podcast. And it's just kind of interesting how people get where they do and what like how you were in the right place at the right time. And he probably just like, shit, I really need help. And he was like, well, this guy keeps emailing me. I guess I'll go with him.
Yeah. And like, I was definitely dedicated, right? And I'm like a level-headed dude. I think that comes down to it. Also, I'm in a position where I can give a lot of my time. Like I don't have a family that like I'm visiting a lot because we're kind of based in British Columbia now. Like I don't have kids. I have a lot of flexibility where I don't necessarily have to work a full-time job. Like all year round.
Right.
So that's definitely like, that's huge because a lot like, and it's a passion project, right?
That's true, yeah.
Just like the podcast,
right?
You like could totally not be doing this,
right?
And you'd be fine.
Yeah.
And like doing it, I'm sure you're not like buying like fancy new cars because you're doing it. Probably the opposite, right?
I sold my fancy truck and bought a 1991 Toyota 4Runner for $3,500 cash. Yeah.
So like
going the opposite direction.
Yeah. It's passion. It's for sure. It's like you just want to be a part of something.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you were definitely a part. I mean, it's really neat. And I guess it's a good time to mention and to thank you because if anyone doesn't know, I'm sure almost everyone's read the bikepacking.com article, but Miles is the one who reached out to me. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, at some point I have to get on bikepacking.com. And so, but I was thinking, I don't know, maybe get a year in or 10 episodes. Like I didn't have a plan, but I just knew at some point I'm going to start knocking on the door and trying to get in. Right. But you contact me at like episode 3 in the very beginning and was like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I don't remember exactly what you said, but I mean, it was positive. And you're like, I'd like to do an article for bikepacking.com. Is that okay? I'm like, well, let me think about it. Yeah, that's fine. But then, you know, we waited a little while so I had more content and whatnot. But yeah, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, talking about like how did things land and whatnot. I mean, that was really neat. That landed, you know. And it was what I liked was like, I didn't know when the article was going to land, and honestly, like even after you recorded it. Or we not recorded it, but we did the interview. Like, there's a part of me that didn't think it was real, because like that was a huge deal, right? Like being a person who reads that website and you like admire all the people who like did a route or I mean, it's just like, dude, this is fucking cool. I don't know, like it's. I mean, it's like prestigious almost, like in the bikepacking world. It's like, what else do you have? Like, oh, I made it on bikepacking.com. Okay, here's your Emmy or whatever. Like, I don't know what else there is.
Yeah, it's sweet that it's come to that point, right?
Right.
Like the site is like, it's a huge resource. The people like that are working on it every day, myself included, like put a lot of time into it. And it's sweet that can have that much impact. And we've seen that like again and again.
Right.
Even just with like gear reviews or simple things that we throw up there.
I wish I had looked up the numbers before this, but like, yeah, I didn't know that article was going to drop or when it was going to drop. And there was a part of me that was like worried that, Logan was going to read and be like, dude, no, we're not having this joke. No, this isn't going on the website. I really thought that. And then it landed and I woke up and had all these messages and Instagram, all this shit. And I'm like, oh shit. And so like other people read it before I did. And then I read it but my stats like it's like throwing rocket fuel on it. It's like good, I had a good little following. Things were going well. But then like, yeah, definitely threw that bikepacking.com rock fuel on there and launched to the moon.
Pow.
Pow. No, but thank you. I mean, that's a neat experience and something that I'll always have, like just like this podcast. It's nice. Like I have this, like these are all memories. Like I'll remember this chat forever and it'll be out there for, forever or whatever.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. I mean, like everything's just out there.
It's true.
It is.
Yeah.
So I mean, our kids, if you ever kids, I don't know, but my kids will listen to it, and it's kind of nice. But yeah, I can always look back on that and be like, I was on bikepacking.com. Shit. What'd you do with your life? Well, I was on bikepacking.com, so
Nothing else really matters.
Pretty
I guess.
good, I guess.
Checking
out. Yeah, for sure. So thank you. What kind of because what all kind of articles do you write or do you like to write? Because from my perception, a lot of it is more gear oriented and not like you writing one about the podcast. I feel like is a little bit outside the scope of what you normally do.
Yeah, I would say that was definitely true. Like last year, or even like kind of like when I was starting, it was like strictly gear reviews. And then now I've taken over the events calendar. So all the events that are listed there, as well as the event recaps that we've started doing I'm pretty much responsible for all of that.
Oh, okay.
So we get event submissions from all over the world. I forget the stats. Actually, let me check my phone because I wrote them down. So in 2017, we launched the events calendar. We had like 45 events listed. And then the next year, we had 170 events. And that was 2018. And then this year we've matched that, and we're probably closer to like 190 now, because this was a few weeks ago, and we've already had like 20 events listed. The majority of them are pretty much races and group rides. Is what it comes down to. Yeah, so the events calendar, and that takes up a chunk of my time, and then press releases is something that we're doing more of. So we're trying to publish 3 kind of on average of those a day.
Oh, wow.
That's just like general cycling information. So if it's like, I don't know, someone rode an event super fast, we want to get something up quick just to congratulate them, or just like new shoes and new products. And like recently tons of that.
Yeah, it's almost like the news, like you're reporting like cycling news.
Yeah, and that's called our dispatch. So yeah, events, dispatch, news stuff, gear review still. And even more so because I'm kind of like, especially in the van, I have the opportunity to like ride more than most people would. So I can like test gear pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And something like those don't happen overnight. Like sometimes we'll have stuff for like a year or more.
Oh yeah. Some of them it's like the shoes. I wore these shoes for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Those last gear or those Giro Tiraduros.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Which got a lot of flack because everyone was like, mine didn't last a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, what do you do about that? All you're doing is telling about your experience, right?
Yeah,
so like
exactly.
If yours lasted 2 years and 10,000 miles or whatever, that's what happened.
And I think so it's going on 4 years now. I think that 4 years or 3 years now that I've had those. I forget. But the issue was, and we might as well just talk about it.
Please do.
They had a redesign partway through there. So like the first batch fell apart on everybody. And then like I think the second or third batch was way better. It was the sole was delaminating.
Yeah.
So mine are a pair, and they're the ones I wore on the overnighter last night, which are soaking wet right now, and guarantee you they're going to dry out and last another year. Yeah. Maybe. The sole's getting pretty worn down now, but yeah, it's just. Yeah.
How much are those shoes?
Oh, I don't know. They must be like in the $200 range, I'm assuming, kind of like mid-range price, I think. Yeah, they've been great.
My last pair, I had gyros. Giros, how do you say it?
I say Giro.
Giro.
But I'm just trying to be like, sound well-traveled.
Yeah, Giro. I had some Giros, and they lasted 5 years. I paid $100 and something for them. I was really happy, so I bought another pair when I just got them. They fit the same. They feel great.
Nice.
But yeah, I was looking at shoes. That's why I knew that about that shoe, because I always want to know what Miles is running, like what does Miles have? Well, I did. I mean, why wouldn't I reach out to you, right? Like I'm looking at a new bike. All right, what kind of bike should I get? Or what drivetrain are you running? Like, what have you found that works? And like, and the neat thing is like, you don't just tell me, you're like, here's a link to the article that I wrote about it, So, I guess I could just search harder.
We have a search function now on the website.
I know, but I just like to message you.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's super fun when you get to make those connections too, right? And you just reach out to people.
It is. I mean, yeah, it's
just ask them.
Just ask. Yeah. I mean, this podcast wouldn't be anything without Instagram and people just saying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
I'll
message,
help with that.
yeah, I message people all the time, just randomly, and receive messages randomly, and it always ends up being like a conversation. It's never like no one's ever shutting people down on Instagram. It's a friendly place.
It is.
Hashtag friendly.
That's why I like Instagram. I got off of Facebook. I have a like a Bikes for Death page or whatever,
Yeah.
but I got off of Facebook because I just couldn't. At first, I started blocking everybody, like where you can like mute them. I don't know. You know, you can do that, like mute people.
Yeah.
I was spending so much time muting people, and then it got to the point where I was only following like 12 people. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I don't do much productive stuff on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but the big difference I noticed is like on Facebook, you'll get a lot of drama and politics and opinions, but on Instagram, at least like you can curtail your feed. Like you can choose who you follow and the type of information you're like consuming. And then the interactions you're having I've always had really good interactions with people. It was funny. I like to tell this story. So I don't know if I've ever told on the podcast. I don't think I have. But I finally broke. At first, I wasn't even going to do a Facebook page for the website or the podcast. But I broke down, got a Facebook, and I shit you not, within the first 10 minutes, I got an email or like a message or whatever, and it was someone bitching at me for something. I shit you not, like it was it was a person that like anyway they wanted some help with something, and I like got sick and my family got sick and I was like legitimately busy and I couldn't help him. He's like, oh, I see you got time to do a podcast and all, but you don't got time for me and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, fucking A, dude, this is my contribution. Like, I don't have time to like privately counsel. I mean, or whatever. I don't even counsel. I don't even know. I just talk to people.
Yeah. Facebook's a dangerous place.
It's scary. Yeah. But people what?
I feel like people like to write more, just like go in deeper.
Yeah.
And then on Instagram, it's quicker. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's true. It is a little more. It's a little more brief.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. What else do you do, Miles? So, is that pretty much a pretty good recap of what you do at bikepacking.com?
Yeah, I think so. I'm like involved. Yeah. So, and like for those who don't know, it's like Logan, Cass, Lucas, and I that are doing sort of like the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have like some like key contributors, like Joe, who's here, and like some other guys and women that are doing like articles pretty regularly and like the features and the stuff that's in the Bikepacking Journal.
Right.
So I'm kind of communicating with them as well, just like getting feedback or like if it's even just like reading over each other's articles and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess.
How do y'all communicate? Do you have like group text or, I mean, because all of y'all are in different places, you're traveling, like how are y'all running bikepacking.com?
It's all just based around a flock of pigeons, well-trained pigeons.
Yeah.
And then they just transfer the messages.
Okay. Yeah. And have you utilized like smoke signals from fires or anything? Because
no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I'll show you later.
We just use like an app. There's an online app called Slack, and it's just like a chat, kind of like an online chat workplace sort of thing.
It's neat though. I mean, that's pretty cool that you can just run a company, especially this kind. It's just like, all right, whatever. Check in every once in a while.
It is interesting. Yeah, it totally is. And like up until last summer, I hadn't met anybody that I was working with. Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I didn't even know Logan. I didn't know he had a southern drawl, which is super weird.
So how long did you work for him before you ever met him?
Probably about a year.
Wow, that's cool.
Maybe even a little bit more. Maybe
you know
like
what was crazy? Whenever like he rolled up, I think that's Logan. You know, but all I really know about him is from like that drawing. You know, his caricature on the bikepacking.com website. I was like, I think that's him.
That's funny.
Man, he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Patrick." Like, what the fuck? You know me.
You're a big deal, man.
He's like, dude, you're on my website. I'm like, I know, but like, I don't know. It's weird. It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a really nice guy. He said he would come on the podcast and chit chat a little bit. So nice. I'll scoop into the other side of why Miles got hired and how things are going. We'll just get like a live report on your productivity and how you're producing for the company.
I do have some dirty details
Oh
that I
yeah.
can share.
Let's just go right into that.
A couple days ago, I was at Logan's homestead.
Mm.
It's in Brevard. I think I can say that. Like,
I think everybody knows that.
everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So a lot of his gear reviews, the products are on stumps, on top of stumps, and you'll see it. The website guaranteed on the homepage has a stump on there
It's his
somewhere.
thing.
And I found all of his stumps. He's got a few to choose from. There's probably maybe about 15 stumps back there. There's some with backdrops, some that are higher than others, different shades of green and brown. Yeah, so if you want to go deface his stumps, they're in Brevard.
Go find them.
Stumps.
That's hilarious, man. Like all those, you think he's like he's out on like some grand adventures. Like, no, they got mailed to him and he had it on his kitchen table. He took it outside.
Amazon purchased stumps.
So that leads to an interesting question. How do you get the gear? Like, you don't have an address.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You don't have an address.
Yeah. So right now, I can like ship things. If I reach out to a company or a company reaches out to me, then I can ship things like further down the road, like to a bike shop. Would be like a good example, which I've done. You just like reach out to a bike shop.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then, or like coming down here, I got a few things shipped like to Logan's or other people's houses that I knew kind of along the way. A lot easier when I'm stationed up. We house it during the winters. So that makes it a little bit easier. But
yeah, but then what are you only doing winter gear? I mean, what can you do?
Well, in British Columbia, I'm like near the coast in British Columbia for the winters. And it's pretty mild. Like I was riding my bike pretty much all winter long. So I was still doing stuff then.
Every time I think about Canada, all I think about is snow.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm not there
and nice
right now.
people.
Snow and nice maple syrup.
Yeah. You know, between Canada and the United States, there's not even a border. Like it's just, it's actually a clearing. They just like cleared it. So you just like walk across.
Come on.
We don't give a shit about Canadians.
Yeah.
Like y'all are totally cool.
You want some snow or some
this
nice
other border over here we're like freaking out about, and there's like the Canadians. Actually, the Canadians should probably build a wall to keep us out.
Probably.
That's actually what should be going on.
It would be like a very fun colored wall.
Oh yeah. It'd be like we like you, we just like you better over there.
Here's some cool refreshments and some Oreos.
Thanks for coming all this way.
Yeah,
please turn around.
We really apologize. We're sorry about that. But you know what? Just come over.
So tell me, I've never been to Canada. How much of what you're saying right now is tongue in cheek, and how much of it is like pretty, like just a good example of what the culture's like there?
I don't know. It's all like, it depends where you are, right? There's places everywhere where like people are nice, and then in those same places, people aren't going to be nice.
Yeah.
I think like, yeah, I won't get into like the political side of things because
I don't want to do that.
I don't even know enough to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't play that game.
So it's just
I have a few rules on this podcast, only a few, and one of them is no politics.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a nice place. I like Canada.
Yeah. But it's like anything else. It's like, I mean, people characterize Americans all as one way.
Exactly.
You know, and I get it, and those people are definitely here.
Yeah.
And we don't like them either.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's fine.
That's a good point.
We all agree.
Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, well, for us, like this is the first time we've been, like I've, as far south on this side of things of the States I've ever been was like the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm hearing more accents than I have ever in my life.
You'll get a lot.
Right. But everyone's been super nice.
Good.
Right. So it's not like, yeah, like you grow up with these like ideas in your head. But
what kind of ideas?
You know, everyone's just super nice.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, like, would you feel like going into some more rural places in America that you would just need to be concerned, like maybe gun-toting Texans?
Yeah,
or,
totally.
Yeah.
That's immediately what comes to mind. Of course.
And so, how is your and after this, I want you to talk about the trip you're on because I wanted to get to that. So, but how has your like interaction been? As it relates to your perception of what it was going to be like? Yeah,
definitely the like pretty much the polar opposite, right? Like I guess we're not in Texas yet, but
I can speak to you about Texas.
But yeah, everyone's been super kind. Yeah, we've not had one situation yet where like we felt unsafe and like I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Right. Like you know that it's not true, but like you have to kind of go experience it first.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people living here. We're not all like walking around in fear and you still
it's just similar like the Baja Divide and stuff, like that route, which like a lot of people would like, oh, maybe like it's dangerous, but like every person that I've spoken to that have cycled in that area has been like, it's the best ever.
Wow.
So
that's one of my thoughts whenever I think about that area. Like I have a perception, but yeah, that's a fucking thing. I'm not going to talk about politics, but I will talk about the news. But I just have a trouble like trusting like what you see just anywhere. Like as a person, I don't take anything like it's not that I don't trust people. It's just that I try to get the best information possible, right? It's like I go out and I try to source the best information for whatever it is. And then I got to figure it out for myself. Like, I'm not just going to be like I like to experience it for myself, you know?
Yeah.
Because you just can't always trust somebody else's experience. Like they just have a different view, they're coming into it with something else. Like you really need to just go figure it out.
Yeah. Well, another good example in bikepacking related, when I rode that Fool's Loop, which is kind of like takes a gravel kind of approach to the Black Canyon Trail out of Phoenix in Arizona. I rode a route out there, and then there's this place called Bumblebee Ranch, which is like a campground on the Black Canyon Trail that like most people stay at, I think. And I went in there, and the owner was having like an off day, and like just threatened to shoot me if I came back on his property that night.
Wait.
So that's just like, again, like polar opposite of everyone else that I encountered. And when I've told this story before, I think in the comment section on the route, and everyone was like, no way. Like they were like, kind of like,
are you sure it's the right house?
Definitely. Because there's like one ranch out there.
Is it possible that somebody had broken into the house and had taken over, impersonated this man? Yes,
it was him. You know, it was totally him. He was in the building there, the main building.
And you're Canadian, so we know you didn't piss him off.
No, I can't. I don't even know how to piss someone off.
You've never pissed off anyone in your life.
No, look at me.
It's creepy and as nice as they come.
Yeah, but that's like kind of an example of how sometimes like when you least expect it, things do go like the other way.
So how did you? I mean, I guess you just got the fuck off his property.
Yeah, I was like, all right, man. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll leave.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably said I'm sorry. I think he let me fill up my water bottles though. That was the issue, is because I had no water at the time.
Well, okay. Do you know why I mean, that's a pretty dramatic response. I've been alive for 39 years. I've had a gun drawn on me once, but I'm a real estate agent. I was like in a house showing it, and apparently the people didn't know. Like I told the wife, but I guess the wife didn't tell the husband. And so like he comes in and he's clearing the rooms. He's like going room to room with a gun. And I'm like, real estate agent, don't kill me, you know? But like, I get it. Like, I kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit, you know? I mean, so you think someone's in your house and you're just protecting your property, I guess. But like, yeah, what happened with you?
It was surprising. I pretty much, so I went up to him and I was like, hey, like Bumblebee Ranch, like I heard there's like camping here. And like that's what they do. It's like there's RV stuff and like camping areas to pitch a tent.
So this isn't crazy.
And this isn't like the first time, because like people have ridden the Black Canyon Trail and camped there before.
Yeah.
And then he was just like not today. Like he pretty much just said not today. And I was just like, and I kind of like, I probably could have just left at that point, I guess, but I needed water, which is kind of like complicated things. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, is there like, are you no longer, I like investigated further. I asked him if he was like no longer offering camping or like what. And he just said like, he just kind of repeated himself and then like showed me that he had a gun in his holster and then, and said like, and don't think of coming back on the property like later. Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah,
I think he was just having a bad day.
He must have, yeah. I
think something happened in his life that day that made him a little bit pissed off, maybe.
I mean, I'm not going to go into details, but I'm not that I would pull a gun on someone, but like we've all had bad days. And like we've had days where if someone walked in at the wrong time, you would be like, just get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about camping. I don't care about your fucking water. Just go.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, those days don't happen a lot, but I've had days in my life where I'd probably just be like, yeah, that's wild, man.
It was interesting for sure.
Yeah. And I understand where you're coming from because I don't know how long you rode, but I mean, you ride, you plan your trip around camping and resupply. I mean, that's when you're out in a remote area, like that's what you do. And so for one of those to go away can drastically alter, and you're like, well, fuck, like, what do I do now? You know, so it's not like you were pestering him. You're just like, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty reasonable question from where you were coming from.
I thought so, yeah. But it turned out fine. Down the road, there's some land where you can camp on.
Yeah.
And then there must have been a water source, or if there wasn't, there was one the next morning. And then I was pretty much out of there on the Black Canyon Trail, and then good to go.
Good story.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I do want to get back into your trip that you're taking right now. Cause this is kind of, I like that. Yeah. This first time in America. What are y'all doing here? What's the plan?
Yeah. So we left,
well, not your first time in America. Sorry. That's actually not correct.
True. Not true.
But you're taking a bigger tour, a longer extended tour.
Correct. So we pretty much, the main goal was we left British Columbia. When was that? Maybe like April? I don't know. May? Maybe May? I don't quite remember. 4 months ago, maybe? Drove home to Ontario. And then, could have been that long ago. Maybe 2 months ago. Drove home to Ontario to visit, because that's where our families are. And that's where we grew up. Went to school and stuff, Emily and I. So visit our families. And we stayed for a month there, actually, at our respective homes. And I did a lot of work on the van during that time.
I was thinking like you would have had 2 months on the road. You would have figured out a month or two or whatever it was, but you would have figured out some shit.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember you posting a bunch, you like fixing plumbing.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Plumbing issues.
Yeah.
There was, what was going on? Well, pretty much we added plumbing to the back because we have like a little 12-volt pump in here. We have like running water in a sink for those who cannot see it. And
which is everybody. Except for you and me.
But then I extended the plumbing, like the pressurized system, to the back of the van. So I have like a little coiled hose back there and a garden
for a
shower head, so we can do a shower or a bike wash.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty easy. And then we added pretty much like every van layout. There's a raised bed where the bikes and stuff go under, and then under that, on the kind of like the living side of things, is like more storage. So all of this stuff is new, all the storage.
One thing that I like is like, again, y'all can't see it. So you got his sink and his cabinetry above the sink. And then extended back to the side of where the bed is, there's just more cubby holes and more storage. So how big is that bed? It looks like a queen or a full, or
yeah, I think it's a full. It's kind of a weird sized.
It is weird.
I believe it's a full.
And you're tall. You're 6'1" or
6'1". So my feet dangle over the end.
Yeah. Does that bother you?
No, I
don't care about that. Yeah, I know. You grow up tall. It's
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm used to it.
Yeah. I'm the same. Yeah.
Maybe that's just the way it is.
Maybe that's the way it is. All right. So yeah, what else did you figure out was wrong? The plumbing.
What else did we do? We added an inverter in, so now we have like a 110 volt outlet, just like you would in your house. So we don't run much off that. So pretty much everything else is a 12 volt system. So we just like run everything through 12 volt cigarette lighters, which is like the most efficient way to run your electronics in these kind of setups.
Why?
Inverters
is just like, I mean, I'm a layman with this. So like just the energy draw is less through that type of system.
Yeah. Well, because you don't have to put it through anything. So it's coming from the solar panel
directly into
through a controller, which converts it to 12 volt. And then you're not getting a lot of energy loss through that stuff.
Okay.
Like they're pretty efficient and like good these days. But the inverter, which turns it into like an outlet, like in your house, which is different from like a little like USB, is very inefficient. I think you get like 30% loss.
Whoa.
From what I've researched. So
that's like your backup.
Yeah.
And they also have, well, wait a second, because they have those like the cigarette lighter, the 12 volt ones that you can that converts into a USB.
Yeah. Well, like what I have right there.
Yeah, like basically what you have right there.
Yeah. We're running the podcasting equipment off our electronics.
We sure are.
Let's see how much energy it's used.
Yeah, we start at 95.4 or something.
We're at 95%, so pretty much nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'd hope not. That's a pretty small device, but still.
That's because it's 12 volt. So
if it was inverted,
yeah,
then it would be like
we'd probably be
89. We'd be in the 80s.
I think we'd be in the 80s. That'd be a safe bet. But so we use that for we have like an immersion blender for like doing smoothies and charging our toothbrushes because we use electric toothbrushes. Do you have those in America?
We have electric toothbrushes. I don't use them. I'm a barbarian, man. I use a old with bristles on the end.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes you scrape your gun. This is terrible.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. I can't afford those electric toothbrushes. I live in a house, so I can't afford nice toothbrushes, you know. When you live in a van, you can afford some of those nicer accoutrements.
I've heard about that whole house living.
Yeah, well, pros and cons, you know. No one's going to knock on my door and ask me to leave at 2 a.m.
You know where you're going to shit every night.
Yeah, I have a really nice toilet.
I don't.
Yeah.
There's that little chest underneath.
Yeah, let's talk about the toilet situation.
It's that's an Amazon purchase.
First of all, I'm also looking at 50 pairs of shoes, and I believe all of those are Emily's.
I've got 2 pairs in there.
Okay.
She's got
48.
Well, she's got her night shoes. And
yes.
then she's got her like kind of morning sort of casual shoes.
Yeah.
And then she's got some classier shoes.
Like a couple different kinds of Converse in there, different colors. You gotta have variety.
All I have is 2 pair of Vans. That's it. Tie-dye or black.
Ooh, that tie-dye sounds nice.
Toilet.
Toilet, yeah.
We didn't install a fixed toilet because it takes up a lot of room. Like a lot of people do composting toilets in here. But we don't really like there's pictures definitely of this van somewhere, but there's not a lot of room. Like you'd have to give up something probably to put a toilet in here.
Where you're sitting right now, I thought was a toilet. Like you'd have to get rid of your what is it called? Refridge, yeah. Refridge. You'd have to get rid of your refrigerator and then you'd have like a slide out compost toilet there.
Yeah.
Or you give up your storage. But yeah, I mean, it's like,
yeah.
All right. So what do? You got to take a shit.
Yeah.
And you have Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
John Crohn's, right?
John Crohn's.
So I don't know what exactly, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit, but I mean, like, I would imagine like every once in a while, you just got to take a shit, like, and it's like happening.
Yeah. So Crohn's is an inflammation of the intestines. There's like no real known cause, no cure. It's just like one of those things that just like pops up and then it sucks.
Oh, is this new? Like you didn't live with it your whole life?
No. It's interesting. So sometimes it like it's traced back to like a very stressful moment in your life.
No way.
Yeah. So like I was talking to a naturopath. I've pretty much I'm following like the medicinal route for treatment. But I wanted to like entertain the idea of a naturopath. So I went to see one of those guys and pretty much he like asked me like right away when I was like first diagnosed. Cause I had colitis before that, which it's pretty much the same thing, just like a slightly different name, which evolved into Crohn's. And he like traced it back to like a point in my life that like makes sense, that I was like super stressed out, and like moving, like change of home, change of job, and like change of relationship status, like kind of all like within a few months sort of. And then, like that, he pretty much had me sold that like, that's probably what caused it, which is crazy because it's an autoimmune disorder.
Yeah. I don't know. Your brain controls so much, right?
Yeah.
So like, if that's the thing controlling everything's going in and out of there, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm not smart with all this kind of stuff, but that's just the way I look at it. It's like your brain's controlling everything, every perception, everything that's going in your body, like everything is controlled in that one area. So if you have like a stressful or something time, I could see where it's just like, I don't know, fucks with you somehow.
And then your gut, like to build on that, your gut controls a lot of the chemicals.
That's right.
So,
right.
So that's like it's
like the brain, they call it, like, it has its own brain.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Body brain?
Gut brain.
Gut brain. So I don't know.
Whatever.
And then, sometimes I got to go poop real quick.
Yeah. And?
If I'm in a forest, which is that's the best place to do van life, like find like an overlook or a picnic spot or like a service road that you can go pull down, which is super easy in the USA. Like there's everywhere. There's national forests and stuff where no problem. Dig a hole, have a little poop shovel nearby usually. Dig a hole, do your whole LNT poop ordeal. And then, or if you're in town, hopefully there's a washroom nearby, or you use the backup toilet that we have here.
Yes, please. Let's see that.
It's just, I won't take it out because it's kind of annoying, but it's
I've seen one of these before.
It's just like a briefcase. This looks like a briefcase. It's about the size of a large briefcase.
Huh?
It folds, three little legs fold out the bottom, and then the top opens up, and you've got a little toilet seat in there.
And does it go into like a bag that you can?
Yeah. So I have these little bags in here, right in here in this cupboard. They're called toilet in a bag.
Okay.
And then some chemicals that you put in there, some powder chemicals.
Yeah.
And you just do your business, tie it up. Even comes with like a little
throw it away somewhere.
Yeah. And with the chemicals, it makes it so it's like legal to throw away in normal garbage. Because I'm not actually sure on this, but.
Well, that's interesting because we got kids and with diapers and I thought you just threw them away.
Maybe you can.
I don't know.
Maybe it's marketing. Maybe they're marketing me.
You have to have this.
Buy the chemicals.
Well, it may be better. It's not my area of expertise, but maybe it's doing something good. It's like converting it into water that we can drink or something.
Making it solar power. Solar power pips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Crohn's life.
So every once in a while, you kick Emily out of the van and you turn this space at our feet right here into your toilet.
Yeah, this is where it all happens. This is where the magic happens in the van.
It's very nice. All right. So what has gone well? Well, maybe not. No one cares what's going well. What, like you're living with your girlfriend in the van.
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Like, how is that going?
Yeah, I think both of us are used to like more personal space and like free time alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest challenge for sure. So you just really, I think the biggest thing is just like finding a way to get that while driving around and living in a van. So if that means like me just like hopping out and like riding a big section of like whatever is nearby to like kind of get out of the van for a bit and Emily drives it, or I don't know, we stop in a town and like Emily goes and does her own thing and I'm in a cafe doing some work.
Yeah.
We both work online while we're traveling. So it's like, it's pretty easy to find that. Like there's a lot of flexibility in our lifestyle, so it should be easier. Sometimes it's like harder.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, you don't have a lot of responsibilities. I mean, you kind of just drive around and I guess we'll camp here and yeah, you can go on a hike. And I mean, it's like, it almost seems like you like are more like starved for trying to find things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And sometimes you just don't know where to go. So like, just like where we're going tomorrow, like, or after the summit. Like I don't know what's happening the day after the summit.
That's so cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like bikepacking a little bit. I mean, it's just like, it's always an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you drive this spot, you don't know how it's going to be. Maybe you have to go somewhere else. Always an adventure.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's pretty cool. People think it's like a very glamorous, like, I don't know, lifestyle and like super fun, but just like everything, like ups and downs, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't look at it like that. I mean, I think that there's some upside, but I mean, like we just talked about your toilet situation. Like that's not convenient, or your shower, or I mean, the amount of things that you can have with you. Only having one bike. I mean, you want me to go on? But
I got 2 bikes.
You got 2 bikes?
It fits 3 bikes in the back.
What? All right. So we only talked about one of your bikes.
Well, we got a review bike, so the other spot's for a review.
Oh, okay.
So we got a.
Do you need to move? Are you hot?
No, I'm good. I'm just getting my tan on.
Okay, yeah.
We got the door open. We're in a full nature.
Full nature.
I
think we're like in 90% nature.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's a lot of cars and. People.
Still really good. Really good. I never thought about that. Yeah, you need a spot for shit you're reviewing.
Yeah. So like the whole back of the van is pretty much gear that I personally own or gear that I'm reviewing. And then and then one more bike, which is currently, it's another Bear Claw. So I reviewed the Thunderhawk last summer, which is the bike that I rode on like a lot of stuff, the Julian Bike Pack Challenge. Really, I rode that like all summer, all over the place. Titanium gravel bike.
Mm.
And then right now I have the Bo Jackson, which is also a Bear Claw bike.
I'm into this already.
It's titanium drop bar gravel bike. Definitely like gravel bike geometry, but
Wait a second, a drop. Oh,
yeah,
not drop or post. Okay,
Yeah.
drop bar. Got
drop bars, gravel
mind went-
bike.
Yeah. Okay.
But clearance for 27.5 plus.
Oh wow.
And I believe 29 plus as well.
Mm.
So it's weird.
That new Chumba Stella will do 29 plus too.
Yeah.
29 by 3-inch tires. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But this is a gravel bike, so that's why it's weird.
That is weird.
Because I don't think that, I'm pretty sure this doesn't exist anywhere but on the Bo Jackson.
But while you're talking about it, you're like, I could use that bike.
Yeah. It's fun.
Plus, I have the book Bo Knows Bo.
Yeah.
At my house. I've read it. It's a good book.
There you go.
He's an impressive guy. Do you know anything about him?
The athlete?
Yeah.
I just know that he was really good at football and
Baseball. Yeah.
That's it.
It's his background that makes him interesting. I mean, where
Okay.
he came from, extremely poor and, how he became him,
Cool.
and some people are just like born as like super athletes.
Mhm.
I mean, he's as far as I know, he seems like a pretty good dude.
Mhm.
I'd ride a Bo Jackson bike.
It's cool. Yeah, check it out. Right now I have a little predicament actually.
Uh-oh.
So it's running Axis.
Oh, right.
Eagle. On
I
it.
heard about this last night, but not from you. So what's
Yeah.
going on?
It just doesn't work. It just stopped working one day.
Did you charge it?
Yes. I turned it off and on again.
Well, because Neil Bachinko was saying that like it's kind of weird how it works. Where like even if you're not using it, I can't remember what he was saying. We'd been drinking, but he was saying something like, "I wonder if he knows like even if you're not using it, it's still running down the battery." So maybe he thought that like you didn't realize that it just needs to be charged.
Yeah. Well, at first I was like, oh, maybe I just need to charge it.
Yeah.
But I charged it full once in the van and then like put the battery in. Doesn't do anything. And then I went to a bike shop and used their like outlet because maybe, I don't know, maybe my van's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no dice. It just like doesn't do anything. When it's working, it's great though.
Okay.
But I'll be writing about it. We might even get Neil to do a little write up on Axis as well.
He's loving it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been using it all over the place and just carries a bunch of spare batteries with him. I was asking him about that last night, actually, just like what he does, just spare batteries.
The biggest problem he's having is with the battery that's underneath the saddle.
Yeah.
It's in the way of where you would put your saddlebag, and nobody makes a saddlebag that accommodates that right now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he was talking to Greg Hardy last night about making a custom bag. It was pretty funny. I was sitting there, and actually the way it went was Neil was talking about the problem, and Greg Hardy was like, "Can I make a bag for you?" I mean, Greg, I like him, like he loves the challenge of figuring out a creative way to solve a problem, like he gets really into it. You can tell he like is passionate about it.
Oh yeah.
And then he took a look. So we're looking at pictures of how Neil's bike is set up. And Greg is like, I rescind my offer. Like it was like, this is too complicated.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It was fun to kind of listen to like, okay, well, we have this really cool product that's designed to do this, but you didn't think about the fact that we're going to need to put a saddlebag on there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's for the electronic dropper post.
Right.
Just so people don't think there's a battery for the shifting if they're not familiar.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I did kind of segue there. Thanks for looking out, Miles.
I got you, man.
I do that sometimes. My brain, it's like a crazy place. It goes all kinds of directions.
It's hot.
It's
hot here in Mulberry Gap.
It's a nice spot, but I was hoping for some cooler temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else? Do you have any questions for me? Do you want to flip the table?
Like what's kind of like, where do you want the podcast to go? Like, I'm kind of wondering, like, are you just going to keep on doing your thing, or you got some sort of secret plan in the works?
Well, if it's a secret plan, I wouldn't tell you about it.
It's okay. No one's listening.
I can edit it out anyway. Secret plan. I don't know. I don't have a plan. What I have is the desire to make it the best that I can.
Mhm.
And then, let things fall where they will, right? But like ultimately, if there is any way feasible that I can transition away some of the work that I'm doing for like my real job into making enough money to justify the time spent on the podcast, I don't have to like quit my job, but like, just to do this job the way I want it, to do this podcast the way I want to do it. Ideally, I would have a van like this or something similar. I'd set it up as a podcasting studio. We'd have like those arms that would reach down from the ceiling and, everything would just be set up. And
Yeah.
so I just travel around, go to Canada, I go to Mexico, I can go all over America with that van and just talk to people, ride bikes, check out different areas. Yeah. So like this is actually a really good taste of that. Like this is a really neat thing. Like the Georgia tourism board paid for me to come up here and like advertise or cover the event, talk to the owners of Mulberry Gap and talk to Neil and Lindsay and just share information about the area and what's going on. And that's something I would do naturally anyway. Like being here is amazing. It's not like they had to twist my arm. In fact, it was quite the opposite. You were talking about how you harassed Logan. I sent an obscene amount of emails and Instagrams to Neil and Lindsay. And I'll say this, I might have to edit this out, but like, I thought it was hilarious. I get no response. No. They responded and they like at one point Neil was like, okay, yeah, like I got you. We're still like working through who's coming media wise and whatnot. Like that was cool. And then it like been a while. So I started harassing him again. And he said something like, we got all your emails. Thank you. And we will get back to you. And I died laughing. Like I didn't take it personal at all because I get it, I get it totally. If there was some guy emailing me like 10 times, I'd be like, bro, I got it. It's cool. Like,
yeah, they're busy.
I totally like, I laughed. I really did laugh. But then they sent in a follow-up email and they're like, listen, this is a deal. The tourism board is paying for it. So we got to see how much funds are there and then who can come and that kind of stuff. But ultimately they were able to make room for me.
Nice.
And then like on the way here, I got a call from a guy that's the head of the Arkansas Tourism Board, and they want me to cover the high country race next year.
Okay.
So they're going to bring me in to do that. So like, it's still an evolving process, right? Like, I don't know exactly where it's going to land, but there's not a lot of content like covering these events and these people. Like bikepacking.com has the news and the gear reviews and the routes. Like y'all have that on lockdown. Like that is, I mean, you just do. Like that is the site you go to if you want to know anything about bikepacking in that vein. But I'm able to operate in like a completely different space where like it's almost like news. Like I'm coming to this event, I'm going to talk to people, I'm going to talk to presenters, and then I'm going to put it out there in pretty short order.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely learning on the fly.
It's way more personal too, right?
Right.
Like you're talking to people and you're good at it.
Oh, thank you.
You're good at talking to me.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, totally. No, it's sweet. I like ever since the start, I was like, man, Patrick's doing something right.
Well,
like,
thank you.
People are listening. I was telling you last night how like my drive down here, I was like stopping into bike shops and like random dudes would be like, I don't know. We were talking about podcasts just because that's usually what we talk about when we talk about van life, because that's what you listen to when you're driving your van.
Sure.
And then like out of the blue, people would mention, oh, and that new Bikes Are Death one. Like he's putting out so many.
Yeah.
Which is true. How many do you have now?
25, I think.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So it is interesting. We're sitting here at almost a year exactly. I was in the same area and I reached out to Greg Hardy and interviewed him. So he's going to be coming on, and it'll just be neat to like kind of close that loop and interview Greg on like almost the exact same time period I was here a year ago. Yeah.
It's cool, man.
It is.
Keep
cool.
it up.
I think I will. I mean, yeah, even if I couldn't like make this into like a job, I can't, I struggle calling it a job, but more of like a source of income to justify the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it wasn't that, I would still do it, you
Yeah.
know, but I'm ramping up. I'm producing a lot of content. I'm seeking out opportunities to interview as many people as I can because I want to grow it, right? And the only way to grow it is to just start growing it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me right now, the main thing uh, that's going to grow it is just content. I mean, the more people I can interview, the more people I can talk to, the more people I can reach. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I've never interviewed you before, so you'll probably link to this, and then it'll go on Instagram, and like I'll reach a new group of people that maybe hadn't heard about the podcast. Like the formula for growing a podcast is relatively simple.
Yeah.
It's just I guess people have always said yes. Like I haven't had anyone say no to an interview yet, which is just crazy. Actually, there's one, and it rhymes with this information has been redacted to protect the names of the innocent.
Oh.
But that wasn't a denial. He just like I'll message him on Instagram every once in a while, and I threw it out there, and he always responds. But then like to that one, he was like, just nothing.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
That's
which
fun.
is fine. I mean, he's someone I would much rather interview people in person, like for sure. This is way better than like, hey man, how's it going?
Yeah,
I mean,
odd. It's just it's not natural.
But it's been good. Like I've got some really good interviews off Skype and off, you know, the phone or whatever. And like Australia, I'm not gonna go to Australia.
No.
You know?
The K-Lite one was great.
That was awesome.
I think that's the one that was on repeat that I was telling you about where
really
my iPod just repeated the same podcast.
What a cool dude, man.
Yeah. I've communicated with him a little bit for like some stuff on the site. And like the way he talks in the podcast, it's exactly how he emails as well.
Yeah.
That's
him 100%.
He's 100% K-Lite.
100%. Well, the reason he was already on my radar. I use a K-Lite. I was like, at some point I'd like to interview him. And I knew he was a little bit of a character. But then he posted on Instagram. Do you remember whenever he posted like pictures of him without his shirt on?
Yeah.
And he was like, this is me. I am K-Lite. I wear no shirt of social conformity, that I'm free to do whatever the fuck I want. I am K-Lite. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this guy gets it. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he is going to run his company. He's going to produce a great product. And like, but he's not going to like try to shove it up your ass and make it like, put it in a pretty little package and like,
exactly.
You know, he's just like, this is a really good fucking light.
Yeah.
And you should have one. Like, this isn't complicated.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
That's the kind of, I love finding those people that are like running a company and taking that approach to it.
Yeah.
And he was so like free to just be himself. Didn't give a shit about saying the right thing or impressing anybody
cussing,
or
cussing all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a fuck it, man. This is me. So I like that. That's what I strive for with the podcast. I mean, I guess another way to answer your question is like, one thing that I decided was I can't fake it, right? Like I can't fake being a personality or whatever, right? Like the only thing I can do if we're going to sit down and talk for a long period of time is just be myself. And if that doesn't work, then okay, well, that's all I got. Like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
So it's pointless to like pretend that I'm something different or cooler or better or more experienced or, you know, just me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And the truth is like, I think more people can relate to me than they can to like Logan Watts or whatever. Like most people can't like, I don't know, you know, travel all around and be gone for their job for months at a time, you know, like that's not most people that are doing this.
Yeah.
So I think that actually my inexperience is good because there's a lot of times I'm interviewing people and I don't have like an encyclopedia of information on every person. Like I love the sport. I follow some of the people. I know some stuff about bikes, but I'm by far not an expert in like most of that stuff. But I'm passionately curious. Like my personality in general is extremely inquisitive. And I'm also a little bit socially awkward. Like I don't like being in like groups, you know, that's not my thing at all. But I really enjoy very good one-on-one conversations, whether we're recording a podcast or not. I value quality conversations, you know, like just not small talk or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, if we didn't have recording equipment, I would have a much similar conversation to you probably, or with you, especially if there aren't people around. That's the thing is like when there's people around, it becomes more like kind of shooting the shit, kind of now you're trying to be funny or whatever, you know, and then, but that's why I just really, good one-on-one conversation.
You need a van for sure.
This is working very well.
You can get anybody in here to talk with you.
Dude, with candy? What else do you do to get people in your van?
I just stand outside of it shirtless.
Yeah.
Throw a thumb up in the air.
And,
you know, see what happens.
That's hot. Anything else?
I don't know. Don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk for hours, but it's hot as fuck in here.
I'm sweating. I changed my shirt.
We need to take a shower and a nap. That was good, man. I was very excited to interview you, and thank you for that song.
Yeah, no problem. I can keep them coming. I can keep them coming, no problem.
Do I own the copyrights to that? Like,
sure, man. I'll give you the slice of the book there.
A slice of the book.
A page from the book.
No, I own you now. I own the original presentation. Okay, I think that's the way that works.
All right.
I mean, it was recorded on my equipment. It is on my SD card. I mean, all you did is write some silly words and put it to music. So.
Is it going to sound good, do you think?
I actually think it's going to be good. Like because I had one mic up to your vocals and one up to the guitar.
We can do it again if we need to.
I thought about that a last second, and I remember going to a concert and they always have two mics. I was like, holy shit, I got two mics. Boom.
That's how you expand the podcast.
Yeah.
Recording musicians. It's related. Bike only musicians that bike pack would be your in.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good to me.
No, I think that should be your podcast.
Miles is bike pack musician.
Miles messaged me on Instagram and he told me that his girlfriend Emily is going to be starting up a rival podcast.
Yeah.
Taking me down.
Busted.
And Logan actually said that too. He's like, bikepacking.com is doing bikes are life. So fuck, you know, he did say, not the fuck you part, but he was like, he's like, yeah, we're starting a podcast called Bikes Are Life.
Bikes Are Life.
You could do Bikes Are Diarrhea.
Yeah.
Bikes Are Butts.
Poops and Pinions or something.
Poops and Paniers. Poops in Paniers.
Paniers isn't bike packing.
Fuck, you're right.
Just kidding. Take that.
Edit this. All right, man. What else? We good?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. Thank you for being my first van podcast.
Am I your first Canadian or no?
No. Ben Johnson.
Oh,
Benjamin Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, he's better than me.
No.
He's
Why is he better than you?
He's just got those eyes. Have you seen his eyes?
Oh, he's pretty.
Film?
He's a pretty man.
His eyes go, yeah.
Yeah, they cut.
They speak to me.
But you got that cool beard. Yeah. And you have that creep pose that you can strike like every time.
Watch out.
Ben doesn't have that. Ben always looks like a nice guy.
Nice one, Ben.
Yeah, it sucks to be you. No, but he was my first. You're my first Canadian in person.
Oh, there you go.
And first Canadian in a van.
That's good too.
There's a lot of firsts happening here. First song.
And it's only the start of the weekend.
Oh man, there's a lot of people here. I'm actually like a little bit overwhelmed. There's like 50 people I need to interview. Yeah,
there's a lot of heavy hitters here too.
Yeah. Ultra Romance.
Yeah, Ultra Romance is here.
He's staying like he's in my cabin basically, but there's just a wall. It's like one cabin, but it's like a duplex cabin. Mm-hmm. So he's on one side of the duplex cabin, I'm on the other. And I'm in the front yard area. Yeah, you're parked in the front yard. In the van. And so is Logan. Yeah, we got Logan next door. I mean, I could stay busy podcasting like right here. You probably could. Yeah. Feel free. You can use this can be your studio if you want. I'll take it for a test drive. I like it. You should actually. Van too. It's fun to drive. It's easy. Is it really? Yeah, it's fun. It's even like on this remote, like rugged type stuff. You go like a little bit slower for sure. Just start like waving back and forth. Not like so much, just like bumpy and like it makes noises and like things are chattering about. Yeah. But just like on the road, like the big windows and the big mirrors, it's like super easy to drive. Reverse camera. Pop that thing in reverse. Pretty sweet. You know where you're going. What year is this one? 2018. Damn, son. Yeah, right. Did y'all buy it new? We got it from a car and truck rental place.
that was selling it because they had to replace the back panel and the back doors because it was in an accident. So they were like had it pretty much like 10 grand cheaper than what it should have been listed at.
Whoa.
Because it had like
With the damage or without?
it was fixed.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So they fixed it. And they showed me the bill. It was like $16,000 to fix it. So we got a good deal.
Nice.
It only had 9,000 kilometers on it, which is like, I don't know.
6,000 miles.
Something like that.
Something. Ish.
Yeah.
Math. Hashtag math.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my van.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, dude.
You're the one who made me famous. Now I'm going to make you famous.
Oh, shit.
Peace. This information has been redacted to protect the names of the innocent. All right. Well, that was me and Miles, and here is Miles and I again to close out the show. Welcome, Miles.
I'm still here.
He hasn't left. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm going to be honest. Like, I listened to that episode 3 times after I edited it. Well, yeah, I think two times I listened to it, and I was laughing. Like, I thought it was funny.
That's pretty much that's what I want. That's what I've got going for me, and I think you're on the same page. You might as well just laugh.
Well, that's one thing I mentioned is I don't. Did we talk about the episode your Instagram? I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you have my funniest Instagram bikepacker. You know, like. I don't follow anybody else except for cyclists or bikepackers. There's not a lot of comedians, but like your stories are, for me, like your humor is funny. If you haven't seen his Instagram, you got to go check it out. It's at Miles Arbour, just his name. And he does like he'll do creepy anything. He does creepy house tours. He does creepy van videos. And creepy, wine tastings.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Those were good ones.
The wine tasting was particularly good.
I'm definitely not very serious, and I'm super sarcastic.
Yeah.
So, like, you just make sure you know that. Because I've had people message me almost complaining sometimes.
Really?
It happens because the content's too hot. Too hot to handle.
They can't handle it.
And, yeah, so.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, okay. It's sad that it's so obviously sarcastic. Like, you'll be like,
I thought so.
I get, do one of your, I get all these questions ones about your van. Like, do one of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one of my go-to stories on Instagram is I start off a video with like, I get all these questions about ... which is just not true. Like no one asked me questions about my van.
Right.
But I feel like in the van life YouTube world, people are always doing these videos on like how to, and like, I don't know. It's silly. I'm just poking fun at everything. But recently I did like, I get all these questions at like how I get my bikes out of the back of the van. And then I walk through the process and like kind of loosely, like it's probably 10% educational. And the rest of it's just me making weird faces.
I get questions all the time. How do you cook?
How do you cook in the van?
In the van.
How do you make a right-hand turn on a busy highway?
Yeah, and then anyway, they're pretty funny. You gotta go check them out. It's hot content, hot fire,
super hot.
Well, I had fun. It's fun to like meet you and get to know you on the internet, and then meet you in real life, and you're basically the same person. And now you're in my house.
There you go. It's full circle.
From internet to home.
Yeah.
I brought a Canadian home with me.
It's a new HBO series coming soon.
It's hot fire too. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the Bikepacking Summit. I'm curious to get your perspective, having some time to think about it, let it soak in. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How do you feel about it now? And was there anything that like kind of stood out or like really like sunk in?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing that sunk in was just like a bunch of people with like varied experience from all over North America, all coming together, and really like once you get all those people in like one room, it just like breaks down all the barriers. Like everyone's just super stoked, super nice, super happy. Yeah, it's just like such a positive environment for like discussions, And like there's some pretty serious like discussions like during their like it's not just all just like talking about like lightweight tents and like dehydrated meals.
Yeah, there was none of that actually.
There wasn't really there were, and that's a good point. There wasn't a lot of gear talk. It was more talking about like bigger issues.
Yeah.
That are not really bike packing specific at all.
Gender equality.
Yeah.
Or what was
inclusivity.
That's
and just like in the industry, which was Pepper Cook talked about that, which was like super solid. Joe's talks, anything Joe talked about was just like super legit.
You can't say enough good things about Joe. I mean, in terms of that presentation that he gave, and he alone was worth the price of admission. Like, just go to see that presentation that he gave to kick off the summit.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, I did. There's a little bit. We won't get into it because it's too good. There's a little bit, I guess I referenced it a bit in my little recap on bikepacking.com. And he talks about it in the journal, in Bikepacking Journal number 2, I think.
Yep. I have that one.
Yeah.
I want to go back and reread it now that I've met him and heard the story.
Yeah. And then just like the whole event itself, like the whole summit was great. Like there was just so much stuff to do. It didn't feel rushed at all. But like you were never like twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out what to do, like between all the presentations and then like little group rides and like activities. And they definitely took like what they learned last year's summit, which I also attended, and put it into practice this year for sure.
Nice.
More hands-on stuff and like less just like people talking at you.
Right.
More discussions. It was great.
This was my first one and I thought they nailed it. I mean, everything was like dialed in. All the presenters were amazing. And like you were talking about the people, like it's really amazing to put 70 people who are all really just very similar in all of our diversity, maybe in our outside lives. Like in that weekend, we were all like very, we had a lot in common, you know? But I liked how accessible everybody was and how, I don't know, man, just looking around, everybody was talking with everyone, like the presenters that were like famous in bikepacking world, just people, just super nice people that are doing cool things and really happy to talk to you and to share, to hear from you. That was another thing I noticed is like Pepper Cook is an excellent storyteller, but I also noticed she's an excellent listener. Like she really will listen to the story that you have to say, and then she'll tell a funny story, and then really cool.
It totally is cool. Yeah, everyone's just super nice.
Another thing you were talking about, that it wasn't like a lot of gear review talk. It was more like maybe like some deeper content, more meat and potatoes, let's say.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But one of the people there I overheard him say, one thing that I've noticed is all the presenters are all talking about a lot of the same things. I thought I was coming to like a bike packing school kind of thing, but he's like, I feel like I went to life school. You know, like this is elevating my perception and perspective on what we're really doing here. We're not just riding bikes, you know, and that was a neat takeaway to see that other people were connecting with the idea of whether it's the community or the outdoors or, you know, the experiences. Connecting with those things is a lot more powerful than the ultra lightweight tent that you're gonna, you know, or whatever, you know, like that's why we're really there. Yeah. At least everyone, I mean, did you have that similar takeaway?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we really didn't, I don't think we talked about gear, like besides Lael's presentation.
Yeah. Which was logistically how to pack your,
and honestly more of like a funny presentation.
Yeah.
Like it was Lael did like a little like gear breakdown on her like Tour Divide bike and stuff like that. And
she's like, well, there's nothing in this bag.
Yeah. It was so funny. She was like pulling out like she brought one of the funniest things, like she brings chain lube but no rag, and she says she'll just lube her chain when she finds a rag on the side of the road. And I thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
to save weight. And like her little like sleeping bag down pant outfit that she tried to use, so then she didn't need like a tent and stuff. Yeah. It was hilarious. That was like, that was the majority of the gear talk, and it was just like funny.
The funny thing about Lael is that we're looking at that and we're like, haha, funny, but that she's really doing that.
Yeah, full on.
Like she's
And it
so
works.
hardcore, but the way she like presents it and talks about it is just like, oh, I don't need a tent. I don't. Yep. Rag. Yep. On the one on the ground. That's good. Yep.
Yeah, she has the best attitude.
She does the best attitude. All right. Well, any other? I guess did I share my own? What did I take away? When I left the summit, I had a 15-hour car drive. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't like turn on music or a podcast or anything for the first 10 hours, which was crazy. Like I kind of was just like soaking it all in, and it was a really neat experience for me. Like you've done some of this stuff before, but to have that, like all those people in one place was really neat for me because I come from a small kind of a, like there's not a lot of bike packers here. There's a few, but we don't have a big bike packing community, and getting that many people together at one time with no distractions, no cell phones, no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There's not a bar close by. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're just forced to, not that I wouldn't want to, but I mean, we're all just there.
Yeah.
We're all there for the same reason,
and
there's no distraction from that reason. In that environment, it's bound to be awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's also like kind of like relates to why that Mulberry Gap mountain bike getaway was like such a good place to host it.
Right.
Yeah, because there was no cell service. Everyone's just like you're doing, but they had like all the accommodations. Like they had food, a great place to do all the presentations, awesome food at that, and trails right at their door. So like really, that's like the perfect kind of example.
That place was sweet.
Yeah, perfect.
I am going to do an interview. I have an interview coming up with the owner, Kate of Mulberry Gap. So we're going to talk more about that. And I actually wrote an article for my website, bikesfordeath.com. The facility itself was cool, but getting to it was like an adventure because you go like down a highway, then you turn down like a smaller highway, then a country road, and then a gravel road, and you turn down another gravel road, then you start climbing the mountain, and it's like an hour since you've been on like a main road. You're in the middle of a national forest, and then you're like, well, I guess Google might be right. I don't know. And then eventually you get to Mulberry Gap.
Yeah.
You're just in it.
So great.
Yeah, it's a great setting. So I'm going to be talking a lot about the Bikepacking Summit over the next 6 episodes. And I think what I'm going to do is probably at the end of it, or at some point, I'm just going to keep sharing like ideas or things that pop in my head that kind of stand out, and trying to just share a little bit of that experience in hopes that, like, I hope next year there's even more people, for them, because they deserve it. They're putting on a great thing. But the more people would just make it better.
Oh yeah, it'll get bigger.
Mo people, mo better.
Yeah. So if this year you were like, I don't know, like maybe it's kind of expensive, or like maybe you can't swing it with your work schedule, just like really consider going next year if you're on the fence, because this is to all the listeners. I'm not telling this to Patrick, because like I'm
already
committing. It's just too good. It's too much fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you've bike packed once, or you're doing it all over the world, like Joe Cruz and some of those guys, and Lael racing all over and stuff. No,
in fact,
matter.
What makes it good is having that diversity.
Mm-hmm.
You need that to have a good dynamic conversation about everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what was going on at the summit. Was really great conversation. It was not just getting talked to.
Mm-hmm.
There were great presentations, but sometimes during the presentation, sometimes after, but always there would be really good discussions about whatever the topic is. And it lended itself to really, like, I learned a lot from a lot of different people. It was cool.
I'm stoked to hear the other podcasts.
They're going to be good.
Some good people coming up.
Some good ones.
Next,
we'll tease the next one. The next one is Greg Hardy. Ooh. Which is exciting, man.
So dreamy.
He was my first. I popped my bikepacking cherry.
I wish he was my first too.
He'll only be mine forever. No, but it was cool, man. It was, the whole thing is just crazy. Like, just hollering at Greg on Instagram. respond instantly. I'm like, shit, I guess I'm a podcaster now. I guess I better write some questions down. But no, man, it was good. I enjoyed that experience. Like, how well do you know Greg?
I'd say like pretty much as well as you know him.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. I got linked up with Greg through bikepacking.com. I was reviewing a bike, and then we needed like a custom frame bag built up kind of quickly. And he jumped on it super quick. We did the whole photo fit process. And it's just like, yeah, the quality of his stuff is pretty amazing through Rockgeist, his bag company. And then, we've kind of kept in touch, and I've like hooked him up with some photos and stuff for his website here and there, because I run a lot of his bags on my current bike. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He's just a good dude.
Yeah. I like Greg.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
It's everybody in this industry is good.
It's true.
It's crazy. It literally blows my mind. Like when we leave here in a few days, I'm sure the first conversation Emily will have be like, man, Patrick and his family who brought us into their driveway and shower are just so nice, because everybody's super nice.
That's true. I've had this conversation so many times. Like, I'm waiting to find the asshole bike packer. Yeah. Actually, I'll throw an invite out. Yeah. If you're an asshole bike packer, I'd like to talk to you.
Sam Houston National Forest.
Tomorrow. We'll take care of this. But we were talking about Greg. Yeah, so I'm excited to have him back and be in that part of the world where it all kicked off a year ago. So I'm going to be releasing that episode pretty much to the day of the year anniversary for Bikes or Death. So be able to come full circle, interview Greg again was pretty cool. We just like kind of caught up. It's like, what's going on in the last year, you know? Kind of checking in with Greg. Everybody wants to know. I get questions all the time. How's Greg doing?
What is he doing?
What is Greg doing today? And so I answer those questions.
Perfect. I'm excited.
All right. Well, I think that's good, man. Thanks for coming on the intro, the outro, and the middle-o.
3 integral parts of a podcast.
3 most important parts of a podcast. All right. Well, listen, if you've stuck around this long, it's because you love the Bikes or Death podcast and you want to support it. Please do me a favor, head over to bikesorddeath.com, and I've laid out all the ways that you can support the show. It really means a lot. It helps to grow the show, and it gives me the motivation, the passion, and the inspiration, and the drive to bring you Hot Fire Podcast every single week. What do we do now, Miles?
Ride your damn bike.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes